Ladies and gentlemen, this is Joe's Classic Video Games back with another cool pinball repair video for you today. Look what I have went and done. We have a flash to repair, and then we had a guy bring us another flash to repair. I have two flashes to repair at the same time. Let's get to it. Alright, so we're going to do this first one first, because I got it in first. So I got to get his done, and then I got to get his done. Okay, so this belongs to our buddy James. Now, these guys are going to fight over these machines because this one, the back glass is a little better than that one. So I got to make sure that I give the guy the right one back. But this guy is Mr. Rodney. He's a real nice guy. He wouldn't ever do anything dishonest. So he wouldn't steal James's pinball machine even if I let him, right? So, but we got to keep them separate. So this is Mr. James. This is Mr. Rodney. All right, so we're gonna work right through it though. This is the one that I did the boards on. I did videos a while back of working on the boards without the machine, but unfortunately, it didn't get it all the way up and doing its thing. So he just brought me the whole machine. He doesn't even live anywhere near here, but he travels through every once in a while. So he just dropped it off and told me to get it working for him. So we've got to work on a little bit now. It's in pretty good shape, but there are a couple little minor issues going on before we even turn it on. One of the inserts has popped out, and then there's one up here that's popped out too. Looks like the other two may be loose as well, so we got to mess with that a little bit. But that one, I don't even see where it's at. Maybe it's down in the bottom or something. And we need to see what the wiring looks like in the back box and everything before we try to turn it on. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take the glass off of it, the lockdown bar, and take the back glass out just so we can get in there and kind of see what's going on and figure out what we need to fix. So I've had people ask before, how do you take the glass out? And then they say, oh, it's a stupid question. But no, it's not a stupid question. It's just you're starting out. So first thing you need is the keys so you can open it. Let me go grab the key. Wait a minute. Was it in there? No. Let me go grab the key and we'll open the coin door and I'll show you how to get the glass out. I believe that door may be new. Look how nice that is. Look at that. Wow. Or either that or he really cleans stuff very well. I mean, the inside wouldn't be new, but maybe the skin of it. But it's a very clean door. Okay, so there's a little lever inside most pinball machines. And you pull that to the side, and that allows the lockdown bar to come off. Some people call it the glass retaining bar. There's a bunch of different names for it, right? So once you take that off, the glass can actually just slide out of the machine. In most instances, you know what? His other machine had real thick glass. I think this glass is probably the same way. So let me put the woof on it and we'll pull it out. Yes. So I think what's going on is that's 1/4 inch glass, and normally it's 3/16. So he just went and got the nicer glass. Okay, here's one of the inserts. Notice it says special. People ask us about inserts more than anything else that we work on. Well, we don't work on inserts really, but they ask us about inserts all the time because people are obsessed with getting them perfectly flat and perfectly clean. And just to be honest with you, I don't really mess with them. You can take them out and replace them, but it causes a big mess. And then, so let's look at this for example. So let's say your number 2 is messed up. How in the world do you plan on fixing that? If you put a new one in, it's not going to look right, and it doesn't say 2. And then look, there's paint on the edge of it because they silk screen the playfields after they put the inserts in. So they make these wood, plywood, and they have holes in them for the inserts. They put the inserts in, and then they run it through a belt sander and get it perfectly flat. And then they silk screen the paint on top of the inserts. So, I mean, it can be done. People do it, but it takes a ton of time. And it's not something I'm really interested in doing. So if you were to replace that one, you really need to replace all of them so that they look the same. And if you're not willing to do that, just leave that one. Now, there is a product I have recently seen that is just a gentleman is selling little pieces of Mylar that are little circles that you just put on top of the insert, not with the text on it. Now, I've seen those too, but I'm talking about the problem that you get a lot of times is they get cupped where it's, concave or it's sunk into the playfield a little bit just from the heat of the bulb. So this gentleman is making little pieces of Mylar, just clear Mylar, that you put on it to just raise it up just a little bit so that a ball won't get stuck on it. So I think that's kind of cool. I'll have to get some of those in and try them out. Okay, so let's open it up and see if we can find our other missing insert down inside of it. So once you get the glass off, you can get into the bottom by just lifting the playfield from here. And there will be a little support bar over here. Look how clean he's got his retainer there. Look at that. That's a nice little machine. You notice the wires here too that are just twisted together. I'll have to solder those in. But okay, let's find our insert. All right, it was laying down inside of it. Look, he's got another one inside that bag there. He must have taken off another machine or something. And boy, it's nice and clean. Look at the shine on just the playfield support. Look at that mirror finish. Crazy. I wonder if they looked like that originally, and he's just like went nuts with the steel wool and got it back to how it's supposed to look. I'm gonna ask him. So I think he said that this one was running, but it's just not right. Like it needs little stuff here and there. So we'll need to kind of work through it and kind of find what he's talking about. Okay. So there's all of the wiring back there. Let me put the playfield back down, and then we'll take the back glass off, and we can pull that wiring up through the bottom. Through the hole. Here is the soundboard that we messed with that he sent us, I believe. He's got it mounted back. Everything looks cool. Everything looks real clean. Look at the tilt bob. Nice little game. All right, let's get the back glass out. Okay, so to remove the back glass, you turn the key over here. Popped it right out. Okay, so now I've got all these wires, and you can use it. There's enough room you can pull them up, and they all mate together. They all have their own thing they plug into. Right, there's one that attaches here with a wing nut. It's the ground coming out of the bottom. In the manual, if you look close enough, it shows you where all these go. But we've got two problem childs. This one is a white and a red. That's actually the flipper voltage, just one single wire. So I need to fix that connector. And then the bridge is just hanging on the back, so I need to test it, make sure that it wasn't taken off because it's bad. And then this one he marked with tape because it's just falling apart. So I need to fix that too. So we need to do a little work on the connectors before we can even put it together. But it's just those two. It's 4 wires. No big deal. And I'll show you how you can see in the manual. Okay, so if you look in the Williams manuals, there is a page on connector details. And they actually give you part numbers for all the connectors. But the problem is, they're Williams part numbers. They're not Molex part numbers. So it's hard to figure out what's what, but I'll just tell you. So like, see that the red and white wire that only had one wire? It actually is supposed to be like that. It uses just a little 1-pin connector. I don't have any of those, so I'm going to just use a 2-pin connector and leave one empty. But what you can do, basically the magic number is 0.093. That's the size of the pins on almost all of these connectors. So 0.093, and then the ones that are not 0.093 are, I have a list over here, 0.084. So 0.093, 0.084, but almost all of them are 0.093. So just order connectors that size and you should be good. If you want to get some of those, where you can get them is GreatPlainsElectronics.com. Guy Ed there has all kinds of pins, connectors, stuff like that, specifically for pinball machines. What I would do is don't replace these big ones. Just replace some of the pins if you need to. If they're still in decent shape, the plastic, just leave them alone. Leave them alone. So I'm going to replace those 3 pins on this one, and then replace the 1 pin on that one, and that'll be our 4 that we had a problem with. Okay, so I put a double connector on it just because I don't have a single one. I don't have much use for those usually. And then this one, I used the same housing, but I just put 3 new pins on it. All 4 of these were .093 size crimp pins. You can get different ones for different size wires, so you know, depending on the gauge of wire that you're going to be crimping it to. And then different part numbers have different tails on it and all of that. So really the only thing that really is specific is the actual size. You can put the .084s in these connectors too, but they're real loose and it's not right. .093, that's the way to go. I checked the bridge rectifier with a multimeter and it was fine, so I used a screw, put it back. I don't know what he was doing with that, but we've got all of our wires hooked up. I have plugged it in the wall. Let's try to turn it on and see if it wants to cooperate. Boom, 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 boom. Let's see if she'll boot up. Heck yeah. Came right up. It has 17 credits on it. Got a little bit of a ghosting going on the one there, but looks pretty good. Let's try putting a ball in it. It might be real loud. It's not real loud, it's real quiet. And the ball kicker ain't kicking. The flippers are flipping. Still too bright. Maybe we'll get some of our sound. Man, this thing is stiff. Oh, you know what? It may need to be on flash to make the loop. Another thing too, it's sitting real flat. See, the front leg levelers are about all the way in, and the back ones are pretty much all the way in. They're just a little bit, there's just a little tiny bit of slant on it. I like mine. That's how I like mine. It also didn't reset those 3 drop targets there. Whoa. That didn't work very good. It landed on the flipper, and I don't think the flipper was strong enough to flip it up. But the good news is the boards are booting. Let's see. Look how Steve Ritchie designed this. Look at this nice plunge. If you're good enough, you can hit it again with that right flipper. Pop bumpers aren't doing much. No sound. We definitely got a lot of little, I would actually call these minor problems, because we already did the board stuff. So it's just, it's kind of adjustments and figuring out why this is going on. When you've got half the playfield, the solenoids aren't working, that's going to be a bad fuse somewhere, it seems like. Right? But we got it to boot up. Okay, so what do we want to handle first? Maybe we fix the sound first. We figured that out. But you know what? The sound works on the solenoid voltage, which is what the coil that kicks the ball out works on. It's what the 3 pop bumpers work on. It's what the coil that resets these works on. But it's also what the flippers work on. So there's something going on here. Something ain't quite right. There's a blown fuse bigger than crap somewhere. Okay, so let's see if we can figure out where our solenoid voltage is disappearing on us. Alright, so to find where we're losing our power, we're going to start at the beginning. That bridge rectifier, the one I was messing with that they had loose from the back of the cabinet, that is actually the solenoid bridge. And there is a... this is from a later game, but it's pretty much the same setup. The flipper voltage comes from that same exact connection. As a matter of fact, that little white and red wire that we were messing with, that we put a connector on, connects to that same spot on the bridge rectifier. So since the flippers are working, we've got that voltage there. It's just not making it to everything else. So we're just going to start at the beginning. So I'm going to check just to confirm the voltage on the bridge rectifier to make sure that we have it, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so I checked it and it's fine. There's 28 volts coming out of the bridge, but you can see what they're actually doing. So one of the wires splits here and goes to the flippers, but it runs through a fuse down by the flippers, and that is still working fine. And then the other wire comes off the same lug. It's the same 28 volts, and it runs up here to the power board, and the only thing it does is it runs through this fuse, which is blown. So they've used this fuse holder on the power supply to fuse all of the coils in the game, which are ran by all these drivers over here. Okay. Now, when we did these boards before, we checked all those drivers and they were fine, but it could be that there's a coil on the playfield somewhere that's messed up. Okay, so I'm going to have to. You're probably wondering, why is the glass back in it? It's because it's the next day. For you, it's just been a few minutes, but for me, it's been another day. We run through these, and it takes a while, you know. A little bit here, a little bit there. So basically, this fuse is blowing probably because one of the coils is locking on. So you can test all of the coils, or the fun way is to just put a new fuse in it and turn it on and turn it off real quick and see which one locks on. So that's what we'll do. All right, so I've installed one of these little circuit breaker things in there. Somebody sent me a bunch of these. So basically, it's just soldered. It's a circuit breaker soldered to a blown fuse. And basically, it will just trip this breaker when it blows it, instead of blowing up fuses that you have to replace over and over and over again. Until you figure out what's going on, then you replace it. I guess you could just leave it in there, but then you replace it with the fuse whenever you get it all tracked down. So what I'm going to do, to simplify things, we're going to turn it on and just see what locks on. You got about 2 seconds, you know, and then it'll blow the fuse. And it, you know, probably blow the transistor and everything else. But it's already done that because something blew the fuse anyway. So, like, if the coil locks on, it will burn up the transistor on the board that makes that coil lock on. But that's probably already happened if one of them's messed up. Okay, so let's check. Now, you see if you can tell which one locks on. I'm only going to have it on for a couple seconds. Nothing. Nothing locked on. Maybe it's a fluke. Let's try to start a game. Oh, there it is. See it? Voila. This one's locked on. So we need to figure out if that's because of a stuck switch or what. Let's see what happens if we turn it on again. Yeah, it only does it when you start the actual game. Okay, cool. Well, now we know. Right kicker. Okay, so that switch is all mangled there. If you look, it's all bent out of shape. So, if I hit the rubber, look how both the long blade and the small blade move at the same time. That's because they're stuck together. Right? So we just need to adjust that so that they are separate until you hit the rubber ring, which makes the ball bounce off, and that'll keep it from being locked on. So once that locks on for a few seconds, it's going to blow the fuse. All right, so I've bent it back. Let's try turning it back on. All right, very good. We look at some light bulb problems for sure. Let's see if we can get in a test. I went the wrong way in the test. Ain't that always how it is? I gotta do it this way, maybe. Okay, it's doing the display test. Everything looks cool. There we go, light bulb test. Okay, so we're going to write down the ones that aren't working because I'm pretty sure he's already replaced all the bulbs, so it's going to end up being something on the board or a messed up line somewhere, like a messed up wire. Here, I'll darken it up so you can see it better. Okay, so the bonus, it says 5,000 Thunder. Okay, and then it says, so it's 1,000, 7,000, 9,000, 10,000, 20,000. None of those are working. So that's definitely a problem. Okay, it's the right drop target, right center drop, and it's the middle or third left drop target. Okay, it's the actually that may be it. Yeah, everything else is, oh, the 3X. Why didn't y'all yell 3X louder? I mean, I know you can see it. Look, it's right there. And on the back box, all of them are doing their thing. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is, let's see, look, we got a light bulb there that's not working too. It could just be bad bulbs. Okay, so I'm going to look in the schematics and see if all of those have a common thing, like if they're all on the same row or the same column or something. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's 9 lights. Very well could be a single strings out. All right, so there was nothing common with those bulbs. They hadn't ever been changed, so I just went through and changed all the bulbs. There's about 50 bulbs under the playfield. And I also changed the 2 flash lamps. If you don't know, Flash is called Flash because it was the first game with flashers in it. So they have these 2 flashers right in the middle that are connected in series with one of the solenoid drives driving them. They're number 89 bulbs. Okay, so we got that done. Let's get back into the test mode. I want to check the solenoids and see if they all work, and check the switches and see if they all work. All right, so let's see what the next test is. Six, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 6 through 13 don't do anything. $22 doesn't do anything. 22 maybe the coin door lockout. 6 through 13 don't do anything. And then 14, 15, 16, 17, 15 and 16 don't do anything. And 15, 16, and 22. Okay, let me look in the manual. Let's see what those are supposed to be. What do you think? What do you think? Now, some of those are going to be the sound that isn't working. I think 5 of them are supposed to be sound calls. Looking in the manual. Here we are. Okay, 1 is the ball release. That works. 2 is the 5 bank reset. That works. 3 is... Oh, there's 2 coils on that apparently. So 3 is that as well. 4 is the 3 bank reset. 5 is the eject hole. 6 is the flashlights. Ooh. Our flashlights might not be working. Ruh-roh. 7's not used. 8's not used. 9 is a sound, doesn't work. 10 is a sound, doesn't work. 11 is a sound, doesn't work. 12 is a sound, doesn't work. 13 is a sound, doesn't work. 14 is the credit knocker, it worked. 15 is not used. And 16 is the coin lockout on the coin door. That's not necessary. A lot of times that's disconnected. 17 is the right jet bumper, that works. 18 is the left jet bumper, that works. 19 is the center jet bumper, that works. 20 is the right kicker, 21 is the left kicker, and 22 is not used. Okay, so we've got the coin lockout's not working, the flashlights are not working, and the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the sounds are not working. I think it's just because the soundboard's not working though. Okay, so I'm going to write that down just so we know which ones are which. And I guess we're to the point we can check switches. Let me see, So on the back it's telling me the switch number when I hit it. So it says 46, 45, and I think it's also 45. 43. Oh, that one's not working. So left in lane, I gotta write these down. Left in lane, and the coils were the flashers, the sounds, and the coin door. Left in lane, switch 43. Most of these switches though are going to be like actually on the playfield something. Woo! That one's working. 42, 41. That one's working. That one's working. This is a fun one. That one may not be working, but it kicked it out earlier, so maybe. 39. I don't want to do the drop targets yet. 23. Maybe I said 23. 21. 22. Okay. Spinner. Spinner's working. Don't worry, people. The spinner's working. 15, 14, 13, 12. It's telling me that 17 is stuck on. Was that one? No. I don't know what 17 is. 10, 9. We're looking pretty good. 20, 19, 17. $13 and $17. Okay, I'm gonna write those down. Just figure out what they are. 13 and 17. Okay, I have them right here. 13 is the 2 rollover. That's up at the top, the second lane. Is it sticking? Nope. And 17 is the spinner. So it's not stuck on, it's just saying that's the last one. You can't even see it, but pretty good. Okay, so the one main one we need to look at is the left in lane isn't working whenever I hit it. It worked that time. 44, 43, 44. Okay, so I just need clean. If you play it a little bit, it'll clean it itself because they rub together. But and the drop targets are probably a whole other matter. The Williams drop targets are notoriously bad, so they may not work very well at all. We'll figure that out. Okay, but I want to figure out what's going on with the flash bulbs and the soundboard. Well, guess what? The volume was just turned down. All right, so we're on to checking drop targets. I've got it in the middle of the game. It's playing our music, or our sound effects. That drop works. That drop works, but this one seems touchy. So it didn't make any sound that time. And once it's down, it's down. So I might have to work with that one. So the one on the left. Now, there's two different things here. It can tell when they're all down, but it also should be able to tell when one of them drops. So it can't tell when that one drops, but it can tell that they're all down. And you want to see the world famous flash lamps. So that one isn't scoring. That one isn't scoring. That one's scoring. Here, you want to see it when I do these? What a cool game! It's cool, man. All right, so I'm going to tilt the playfield up, and we're going to check out the ones that. So it's the one on the left, and it's the. That one's fun. The one on the left. One on the right. So basically, most of them need clean. So we're gonna play with drop targets a little bit, which is what you usually end up doing when you're working on a Williams. All right, so this is what the drop targets look like on the bottom. They have this little board on the back of them on the Williams ones, and you're just looking for broken wires. All these look good, and then I've taken this one apart so you can see what happens. All of these are down, so as it drops, this little contact, little horseshoe contact, just connects the traces together. So at the top, it's sitting connected to these two traces. They never really use that for anything. They may have on some games. And then as it falls, while it's falling, it's connecting these two, which is connecting this wire to this wire. Right? So that is itself a switch. And then once it gets all the way down, it's sitting right there where it's connecting these two. So that's why whenever all of them were down, it could tell. It was because all of them were sitting on these lines here, connecting all of them together, which is one switch. And so that was working. The reason they weren't scoring as they fall was because it wasn't making good enough contact with these traces here in the middle. So what I do is I clean them up a little bit. Somebody's already cleaned these, but it looks like they've gotten dirty again. I take a little sandpaper, clean them up. You can do it however you want, but you just want to get them nice and clean. And then what I put on them, the top doesn't matter as much. It's not as easy doing it one-handed. And then once I get it nice and clean, get all of the dirt off of it, I use dielectric grease on it. Dielectric. This is good stuff here. You just put a little bit on it just to kind of lubricate it a little bit. And then whenever I tighten them up, I don't make them super tight. I leave them just a little bit loose, and it allows the drop target to drop fine, and usually that gets them going. So that's what I'm going to do. If you want any of this stuff, we've got parts like stuff like this that we use in our videos on our website. Go to lionsarcade.com. There's a parts section, and there's a bunch of links on there to like dozens of things that we use in our games. And if you follow any of those links, a lot of them take you to Amazon. If you buy anything on Amazon after you use one of those links, even if it's something that I didn't send you there for, so if you go on there and you buy a sports car or something, it gives us 3% of whatever you buy. So we appreciate everybody that's done that to help support our channel. Okay, so I'm going to clean these up, and then we'll see if that gets all of them back doing their thing. Okay, so I went ahead and soldered the wires back on there that were twisted together. Got that taken care of. I forgot to mention the flashlights. When you're in test, the software is set up so that it doesn't pulse the solenoids as it checks them as hard as it does when you play the game. So in the game, the flashes come on and they do this. But in test, they just barely go. You can barely tell that they're working. So because of that, I couldn't tell. I didn't even notice it whenever it was in test, but they are actually working. Okay, so we're going to restart it and see if our drop targets are working better now. All right, now I may have... sometimes whenever these have extra credits on them, or they're on free play, a Williams game, when you hit start, it'll start a 2-player game. But I think this one Just started a 1 player. Let's see what we got here. That one's working. That one's working. That one's working. That one's working. Can it tell they're down? I don't think it can tell they're down. Right? Ooh, it almost got me. All right, so it can't tell they're down. We got to mess with that a little bit more. Let's try this one, though. That one's scoring. Remember, it wasn't earlier. So that one can definitely tell when they're down. That one's working perfect. Perfect, baby. That one might be part of our problem. Yeah, that one's still tripping. So we got to still mess with the second one a little bit. Alright, so we're not quite there. I got to mess with that just a little bit more. Okay, so while I'm at it, I'm putting in the fuses. So there is a design flaw on these that we've talked about before. It's pretty common knowledge. From system 3 up to about system 9 or something like that. They had a problem where if you look on the schematics of the power supply, these two bridge rectifiers, the AC wires coming out of the transformer to the bridge aren't fused. So the problem that you get is if one of the bridges shorts, it burns up those wires and can cause you all kinds of problems. So it kind of needs a fuse on one of the AC wires coming off of the transformer. So on this one, the two AC wires are red. So if you take one of them and cut it coming out of the transformer and run it through an 8 amp fuse, and then on this one, if you cut one of the blue wires, which are the AC wires, and run it through an 8 amp fuse, a separate one, then you've effectively put a fuse in line on each of the solenoid, the bridge rectifiers. We've done a couple videos where we talk about that specifically, how to do that, but as you can see, we're getting that done too. And I went ahead and replaced the fuse that we had a circuit breaker in, and I think we're about ready to test it. Oh, I didn't tell you. I took the drop target back apart, cleaned it some more, made sure everything was, the little contact was bent out where it was touching the pads like it should, and hopefully that'll get us going. I think we're about ready to test play it a little bit. The only thing I don't like is that it's so flat, so I'm going to jack it up in the air a little bit by just turning the back leg levelers to make it a little higher. It's pretty low right now, and I think these flippers can handle it. That's what I think. Look, people are so happy about it. They're sending me text messages. Hear it? They're blowing me up. They're going, "Hey, that's a good idea. Yeah, jack up the legs of the pinball machine. That'll be awesome." All right, so I'm going to do that, and then we'll play it a little bit and see what else we can find that's not quite right. But we're about done with it, I think. Look at it. Look at it in all its glory. All right, we're going to test it a little bit. I'm not going to play for a long time because this video is already long enough, people. This is just an added bonus, okay? So we'd like to thank everybody that's been watching all of our videos. And all that we want you to do is give us a thumbs up for taking the trouble to film it. You know how much longer it took me to film this instead of just fixing it? Do you think I'm doing this for my health? No, I'm doing it to try to share some coolness with other people on the planet, right? Why should I hog all this great time to myself? So I hope you enjoyed it. If you do, give us a thumbs up and make sure to subscribe to our channel. Now, I'd like to thank all of the people that have been using our Amazon links. If you don't know about that, I mentioned it earlier. We have some links down below and on our website to Amazon. If you're going to buy anything on Amazon, use one of our links and it gives me 3% of whatever you buy. What a great way to donate money to me and it not cost you anything. So we appreciate everybody that's been doing that. So we're going to play it a little bit. Make sure to check out my brother Donnie too. If you don't know about that, my brother actually has a channel here on YouTube too. My brother Donnie, it's the name of the channel. And he's more laid back than I am. He works on old cars, old trucks. Right now we're doing a whole series on these old pickup trucks that he's been messing with. And I'm over there with him on that a lot. And we've got some old buildings in a small town near here that we're working on. And we've been putting up videos showing that off too. So if you like old stuff, you may enjoy that. Let's play it a little bit. I'm sure there's still some minor issues, but you know, when you play it, sometimes they work their way out. Or it becomes very obvious to you, right? I'll jack the back legs up a little bit. By the way, you hear that? That's the background sound. This was the first game with continuous background sound, too. I believe it's the first game. I may have that wrong, but I think it was the first one. With a continuous background sound. It drives some people crazy. I love it. As you get points, the tone goes up. Now you may say, oh, that's weird. It was actually kind of common at the time. If you think about Space Invaders, it does a similar thing with the thump, 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 thump. It starts getting faster and faster. And if you play Galaxian, it does it. The tone of the horde of bugs gets higher as the game goes on. Go watch a video of me playing Galaxian here on the channel. I didn't say Galaga, I said Galaxian. And if you play Pac-Man, probably the most famous example. A lot of people don't even realize it, but when you're playing Pac-Man, it's making a noise in the background that gets higher pitched as you go along. Go try it out. Oh, I missed the button. Now, this was designed by the great Steve Ritchie. And all of his games shoot really well. They have really cool shots. So whenever I get my act together here, and get the ball moving a little bit, you can see what I'm talking about. I love the sounds on the Williams games. Alright, so the playfield has this figure 8 loop, and there is a flipper right here. So if you get good enough, you can just keep making that shot over and over again. I'm not good enough. And there's also a nice spinner shot heading up the other way, you know. You can also hit the flipper. Alright, I'm getting it together, folks. We're getting it together. Sometimes it misses that rollover up there. Ooh. I thought I was going to hit that one. It was on this one. See what I'm saying? He designs nice shots, even from the beginning. I think this was his third game, and it was already badass. So you may wonder, what was that? A knocker is not good enough for Steve Ritchie, okay? We need an alarm going off so everybody in the arcade can see that I just won a free game. I'm matched. Ooh. You can sweep the targets too. It's not super easy, but yeah. Loop it, baby, loop it. There we go. See, the rollover does work. You just got to hit it. Woo. No lane change yet on this game. Whoa. Sweet spinner. Yeah! Yeah! Oop, 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 oop. Yeah. Remember how one of the... Remember how the right kicker was stuck on when we started? Oh, bricked it. Oh, missed everything. I haven't hit anything yet. Man, that's a smooth shot through the spinner, right? You got to go right past the flipper, too. Cool. All right, we'll play one more for the good times. Oop, not quite. Whoa! Man, what a shot! Love that spinner shot. Boy, she's playing pretty good, isn't she? I see a couple little minor things I might be able to adjust, but it's set up pretty good. Ooh. I knew I'd get it eventually. Missed it with the flipper. I wasn't thinking about it. How high will it go? It can't go higher than that, surely. And then it did. I reset it. I rolled the sign, I rolled the tone. All right, there you go, people. That is William's flash. James, we fixed your game. Come pick it up, buddy. It's sitting here waiting on you. I hope y'all enjoyed it. We'll see you on the next video. By the way, I mean, you know what the next video is going to be, right? It's going to be fixed. It's going to be me fixing Rodney's flash machine. I mean, why would I not do that one exactly right after this one? I mean, come on, people. People, come on now. If I've got two come on, people. I didn't even tell you I got a 5. If you knew I had a 5, come on, people. If I've got a flash, and then right next to it I've got another flash, and then I fix the flash, Why would I not? Come on. Why would I not? Right after that, people, I'd fix the other flash. Why would I not do that? Of course, that's what I would do, people. Come on now. We're gonna fix the other flash. I don't even know. Why do y'all always get me so twisted up? I mean, I don't know why you're arguing with me about fixing the other flash when you know I've got two of them here. Of course, I'm gonna